Hi, my name's Judy.
And I'm Ceci.
And together we are
Two Girls on a Mic. Do elevator music. Welcome back to Two Girls on a Mic. And as we talked about in last week's episode very briefly, today is our last episode ever. I'm just kidding.
They're like, wait, what?
I know.
We can no longer function together.
No.
So.
As you can see. No, this is just our last episode of 2021 and also season 1.
Yes.
Yeah, we know we haven't really mentioned it that much, but we are like kind of labeling it as seasons and being like, okay, this is phase 1, I guess you can say, where we are very new. Our editing and audio might not be the best, but I can definitely tell it got better along the way.
Say, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is the season 1 finale.
Yep. And I think we've come a long way since we first started. I think we've gotten better as time has went on. And I think also this gives us time because it's around December time and I'm just finishing up school. So it gives me a time to like, hey, we don't have to record. I mean, we're still planning and still doing things for the podcast, but it's like, okay, we don't have to film, we don't have to record, we don't have to edit because it does take some time to do that. So it's a little time consuming. So we kind of wanted to take a couple weeks off just to like
and also enjoy the holidays too, because it's, you know, we get together with family, and not saying that the podcast didn't let us do that before, but it's nice to be able to do that without worrying, oh, we have to like be home at this time so we could record or whatnot. So that's always nice. And it's also a break for you guys too, because, you know, you guys should spend time with your family or friends, whatever.
Right.
But you could also listen to our older episodes.
Yes, you can, yeah.
Yeah. So this episode is just going to be like a recap about season 1, our favorites, your guys' favorites based off of like our statistics, because we're fancy. And at the end, we'll kind of just go into what we're planning for season 2 and get you guys excited about it.
Yep. Let's jump right into it. So, okay, we started the first episode. We dropped it, July?
It
was June. It was June. Yeah. Let's check our Instagram because that's how I know when we dropped our stuff.
Oh yeah, June 23rd.
June 23rd? Yeah. So I remember if we go way back before we even did our Instagram or anything like that, I had been wanting to do a podcast
for a while.
For a while now, but I was just like, I don't know. Like, I didn't want to start it by myself because one, I like my energy. I feed off people's energy, so that's why I'm like, I need somebody who's gonna be able to like match that and just keep the audience engaged and myself. So I that's when I think you were working with me at the time at my job.
Yeah.
And I think I pitched, and I had been wanting to pitch it to you, but I was like, casually I would throw it.
You would say that. And I forgot what time. It was last year. I want to say either Friendsgiving or like the Christmas thing where we put up your old vlogs, and one of them was a podcast.
Yeah, I had.
And you're like, oh, I really want to do that again.
Yeah, it was over a drink, which I freaking love that name because I wouldn't make, but it was a kind of a tradition. Each episode we would take a shot and then everybody would have their drinks and we kind of just, which was pretty cool. And I really wanted it, but I wanted to continue that, but at the same time I wanted to start fresh, like just a new, just whole new concept. So I was like, sure, let's. And I was like, well, Cecilia.
But it's good though, because we can also, throwing it out there, we could also do that as like a segment.
Oh, we can. Like,
if you guys would be interested in that, let us know.
We can do like a late night, like topics, you know?
Yeah, little bonus episodes.
And we can, what better way than introduce drinking?
I mean, what are you drinking right now?
This is pink lemonade with some Jose Cuervo.
Yeah,
so
spiked,
and it's
spiked
pretty early.
She started at 1. Not a.m. p.m.
But I mean, I need it.
It's Monday. It's
sure.
Yeah.
Why not? You know, it's 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. Wow, can I speak?
It's 5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. So
yeah.
Let me know if you're joining me with a drink.
Yeah. So we posted that up, or just like as we were getting closer to release date and whatnot.
Yeah, I think we're teasing it. I think it was we did like 2 weeks, 3 weeks of teasing
Yeah.
it before we released it, which it got a lot of like. Obviously, our friends and family were
supportive and following.
yeah. But I think we started getting a lot more different people that maybe our friends knew or people who we had like we followed but not really like we
Yeah.
weren't somebody. It's people that we're close with.
Distant friends, yeah.
So that was nice to see that it caught on pretty quick.
Yeah, it was a nice, like, I would like going on there and seeing like, oh, this person followed. And you're like, oh, I haven't really talked to them that much, but that's cool.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just supporting each other through these endeavors that we've gone through.
Yeah, so that was fun to see.
Yeah, and as like time went on, we've talked about in multiple episodes how Judy really likes the marketing thing, so she put together like the Tuesday tunes that you guys see, and I think that's probably the one that people enjoy the most. I want to say,
yeah.
between that one and Throwback Thursday,
Thursdays, yeah.
yeah, people. I mean, everybody listens to music, so you always have a song
Yeah.
stuck in your head.
And I've always and what I love about that and the reason why I wanted to come up with that Tuesday tune is I get tired of listening to the same thing or I get stuck of listening to the same thing over and over because it's just like my comfort zone. I'm like, if I don't know what to listen to, either I throw Mac Miller on or early 2000s hits. You know, that's like my go-to playlist. So I was like, you know what? I want to find new artists that I typically wouldn't listen to. So that's when it kind of like out of nowhere, it was just like Tuesdays tunes, like it was just catchy. It kind of just came to me, so I was like, sure, let's. I pitched it to her, and you're like, yeah, sure. Like, who doesn't like music, right? So, and I found a lot of artists that I typically would not listen to, which is the idea behind Tuesday tunes.
Yeah.
So now our playlist, like I'll put in our playlist, and it goes from like Spanish to English to rock to like stuff that I would listen to, but yeah,
It's a good mix, yeah. And we don't discriminate.
yeah.
We repost all of them so that if other people are like having the same issue, the playlist is it's public to everyone.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to listen, check it out. You definitely could. It's all year round.
Yeah. I need to start putting Christmas music up there.
I mean, sure, we'll put that one on the private one. But yeah, another great thing about like kind of also through social media and just listening to their podcasts and whatnot is the people that we've met. So we do have like our own friends. We have Matt, Derek, Fabi, and Karina. I don't think I'm missing anyone.
And your little sister, Alex.
Alex, my little sister. But we also had the girls from This Latina Needs Therapy too.
Oh my God, that was so. We mentioned in that episode, it's somebody who they were the reason why I got kind of pushed to just do it because I remember DMing them and letting them know that I that they inspire me and that I wanted to start a podcast and like just do it, you know. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, why not, you know. So in my head, I was like, oh, and I told them, like, eventually I would love to have you on our podcast. And like, yeah, sure. And, most people are like, yeah, you don't believe in. They're just like, yeah, sure, let us know. So I was like, okay. And then I think it was a few months in.
Yeah, it was like midway through our season, I want to say.
And I had told her, oh, like I messaged them, like I've been wanting to like ask them if they want to be part of our show, but I'm like shy and like I don't know if I should ask them. You're like, girl, just do it.
Yeah.
Worst they can say is no. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're right. So I ended up that day exactly when you said that. I think I DM'd them there, and they replied fairly like quick.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we would love to. I'm like, oh my God, fangirling. But that was fun. Like, that's super cool that they are very open. And obviously, they've grown their platform and they have, like, their listeners. So I was just like, you can tell they're very, very genuine. Because some people that already have their platform, they would not want to collab with, like, a smaller podcast. So I think that was very cool
Very
of them.
nice of
that
them, yeah.
they're like, you know what? Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, and that's something I would definitely want to do, like, again in the next season. Like, just because it's also a good way to meet new people, not only just to collaborate, but also, you could eventually become friends and whatnot.
Yeah.
And because we're kind of like, at least for me, speaking for myself, I don't make friends very easily because I don't really
Same.
go out many places.
Yeah, same.
So I listen to tons of podcasts, but like if I could just reach out and be like, hey guys.
Yeah, that would be super cool. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully what if we get like a really big podcast?
That would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, our guests, obviously they're just as special. Matt and Derek were in the first couple ones.
The first two, I think.
Yeah.
Or the 1 and 3 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Obviously, they are special guests.
In our hearts.
In our hearts. Hopefully to you guys. I'm sure you guys like them too.
Yeah.
And I mean, technically that also is a collaboration. They hadn't started this podcast too just yet, but it came along the way. Around kind of the same time.
I think a little after. I think they released in July. July 4th.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I do remember that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was fun. Karina and Fabi, that was a good time.
That was a good time, and there was a lot of alcohol involved.
There was a lot of alcohol.
We forgot about Steve.
Sorry, Steve.
Sorry. But yeah.
Steve, also this podcast too. Yeah, and Alex from my mother. She was a good guest.
Oh, Gabby?
Sorry, Gabby.
I forgot, yeah.
Yeah, it's just we had a good amount of people on for the first season, and I'm happy we did that. And again, definitely want to carry that on to season 2. Maybe have some newer guests and also reoccurring, or not reoccurring, but like ones we had on this season.
Yeah.
Like just going back to the first episode to now, I think we're definitely more comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking, like I remember first episode, it was like I was comfortable, but like I don't know, it's a weird feeling.
I feel like we had to like pause because we would draw blanks.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, let's start from the top. Mm-hmm. And we're like, what do we say
What
next?
now?
Like, but now I think we got a rhythm where we kind of bounce off each other, so we don't really have like awkward silent moments. Like she can pick up if I like don't know what to say, or I kind of finish my train of thought.
Yes,
you kind of pick up and keep the conversation going.
And vice versa, yeah. Don't get us wrong though. Sometimes we do like blank out.
But I think that's more so when we're like
Yeah.
super tired. We're recording super late.
like
But I think we do. I think the reason why we're so good at bouncing off each other is also we're very good at picking the topics, because
Yeah.
if it were topics that we weren't interested in, I think it would not flow as easily. You know.
And it's stuff like we've always said the same thing. We want it to be like something relatable. People want to hear it, even if you can't relate to the toxic family one. If you don't have anything like that, it's still something that's like interesting to listen to from other people's perspectives. At least that's how I think of it. Yeah, and the topics that we do have, it all revolves around the same thing basically. But it's also nice because it's very broad.
Yeah, and
So
I feel
we
like
have-
everybody would know somebody
Yeah.
that it can relate to the topic. Like, you know what? Yeah, like my cousin, damn, she has a bad mother-in-law or whatever, you know? I feel like everybody can relate to our topics, whether it's because they relate to them personally or because they know somebody, a friend, a mom, a sister, brother, whatnot. Like, I feel like all our topics can be relatable in some kind of way.
Yeah. And I also like that, like when we talk about it, it seems like we're just talking,
Having a casual conversation as opposed to a forceful conversation or kind of trying to like find ways to
Our
keep the
words, yeah.
conversation going. It's like,
So it's nice, and then also you guys get to learn a lot about us,
yeah, you guys learned a lot.
like a lot of good, a lot of bad.
Yeah.
But that's good, that also like gives us the connection with you guys.
What was your favorite episode to film or record in general?
I would say my favorite one to record, not edit, was the most likely to one. The game.
Oh,
with
yeah, that
Fabi and
one was
Karina.
fun.
It was very fun, but I think I was editing that one and
Yeah,
it was
you
not
did.
fun. There was a lot that had to get cut out because we would forget that we were recording and we were like
Having side conversations or
side
we were
conversations, saying stuff that we didn't want people to know.
Yeah.
So it was super fun. Let's see.
I think for me, my favorite one was the one with the Latinas. This Latina needs therapy too. I think that was my favorite episode because even after we filmed our episode, we still stayed for like they still stayed over for like an hour to 2 hours, just hanging out, drinking, just having like a casual conversation, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I think that was honestly that was a very genuine just episode
Conversation,
and conversation and just they're super genuine, and I feel like it's hard to find that. Just anything working in media, I feel like it's hard to find genuine people, and
Yeah.
they weren't exactly the same as in their podcast. I feel like I was just
Listening to another podcast, but
yeah.
actually talking back.
I was so like I don't want to say starstruck, but every time I would see them, I'm like, I couldn't believe that they were there in front of us. I'm like, oh my God, I would hear you guys or see you over like on my laptop or phone. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're there. Like, this is actually you guys. But
Yeah, that one's fun. To film, obviously, the Spooky Stories one. The Spooky
right,
Stories.
right.
That one was, the stories were good, and I really liked how we had set it up and our little backdrop with the
Yeah.
pumpkins. That was fun. I also liked the Zodiac sign one.
Oh,
which
that
was
one was fun.
right
I
after.
didn't think we were gonna, because we had to cut it short because we saw our time. We're like, oh shit, we're already at
like
like
50
I'm
an
like,
hour,
okay, we
yeah.
gotta wrap it up.
And the funny thing about that is because we semi-plan our episodes, like we have bullets that we want to hit to make sure that it's still like cohesive to a point and it's not just us like all over the place.
Right.
So that day we had scrapped one because we wanted to have a guest on and they couldn't make it that day. And so we just kind of threw out, oh, what if we just do like, I don't know, our zodiac signs or
Yeah.
something. And we both went in like not expecting it to be anything.
We thought we were gonna struggle trying to make it at least 30 minutes because we
Yeah.
try and have our episodes at least 30 minutes, and we're like, oh, because we're into zodiac signs, but not like how people
Those
who are
astrology people, yeah.
they're like your rising moon and all this. I'm like, yeah, I literally just found out a few weeks ago that what I have, and I'm
Yeah.
very surprised. Oh my God, but that's on another episode. But yeah, it was just the conversation was very organic and very just easygoing. That
Yeah.
when we saw the time, we're like, oh, we should, and we had to like scrap 2 bullet points because we're like,
Yeah.
what? It's gonna be way too long of an episode, so we're probably gonna have a part 2, probably
for
next year.
season 2. Yeah, definitely that. I know for sure we had talked about in this season, but we're actually doing it next season, a pregnancy episode / motherhood.
Oh yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
pregnant, guys.
No,
we're not pregnant.
Not a pregnancy announcement.
Just like because I feel because I talked to her a lot about when I had a kid, when I was pregnant, all that stuff. And like the things I tell her, she's like, I've never heard that stuff. And I feel like a lot of people don't say, or they don't give you the information, like the
Yeah.
real information that you have no idea that's coming after, like during pregnancy and after pregnancy. So I feel like highlighting that and making sure that it's not always perceived as like rainbows and butterflies and like cuteness overload. Like it's cute and all, but it's not just that. There's a lot more
Behind it.
like the quote unquote ugly stuff behind pregnancy and after giving birth. And I think it's called the 10th semester
I don't know.
because it's 9 months. No, I'm sorry. The 4th trimester.
Oh,
No, 4, whatever.
the
there's
extra
3
one.
The extra one, like the one where you
You've already given birth?
so that,
Okay.
yeah, so having to deal with like the after pregnancy and like the whole other
Yeah.
stuff that I had no idea about.
Yeah, so I definitely want to do one of those because I want to know.
Yeah. So I think that'd be a fun video, and I think it'd be cool to have because I had a C-section, but I would love to have somebody who gave just what would you call a natural
Yeah,
birth because it's two different. Like even the aftercare is very different than somebody who had a C-section as opposed to somebody who had natural birth. So I think that would be a cool video. So.
Yeah. But going into the episodes you guys really liked, by statistics, not by personal. So if you liked another episode, good. So our top 3, the first one was episode 1, and the Let's Get Personal one.
That was our
where-
first one. That one,
Yeah.
that's to this day, it's still getting listeners.
Yeah.
It's like our go-to episode, which is cool because, and I've gone back to listen. I'm like, oh my God, this is a really good episode. For it being our first episode, I think it did a really good job at kind of reeling people in.
Yeah.
And capturing, like, you know what? This is actually pretty. I don't want to be biased, but I mean, I will listen to our episodes and I'm freaking dying. I'm like, we're hilarious. So.
Yeah, I did. And when I'm editing too, I'll like start laughing. Like, yeah, right behind that is our second episode, the Deal Breakers one, which is also a good one.
Yeah, I
And-
think our teaser for that really caught a lot of people's like attention because I still go back to our teaser and I'm
just
like, oh my
listen.
God, that's hilarious.
And our third one is actually the Let's Talk Toxic Work Environment. That was with Fabi.
Yeah. What number was that? What episode number is
7.
that? 7. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That one, I think it's because we spilled like a lot of
We spilled a lot of tea.
on that one.
We even had to bleep a few things because we're like, we're releasing a little bit too much information.
Yeah. So, but that one was really fun. Just
Yeah.
learning because we're all basically in semi-different fields, but also from our other previous jobs. I feel like that's where we pulled the most from.
It was, I had a lot to release.
A lot of built-up anger.
I have 7 years worth of anger. I was there way too long.
Yeah, but it got out there.
Yeah.
So that one was a fun one for sure. Those are our top 3s.
Yeah. And what surprises me that early on, I think it was maybe 5 episodes in or something like that, we already had international listeners.
Yeah.
Which to me, that was crazy. I expected all our listeners to be like from the US, you know?
Like people that we knew basically, and
Yeah.
like maybe their friends.
And I remember the first 2 that I saw was, I think it was Germany and Costa Rica. Those are the first ones that we saw. It was US, Germany, and Costa Rica. And then a few days ago, we checked.
And it's like
And we have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Yeah.
Aside from USA. Which is insane to think that, okay, we're in Germany, Costa Rica, UK, Singapore, Finland, and Greece. I'm like, that's crazy. But it's super cool to see that we're not just, relatable to US listeners, but also internationally. Like, they can relate to our everyday topics,
Yeah. So, hey, international listeners. Yeah. And I also think, like, it's kind of like a weird thing to throw in, but I'm going to throw it in. I'm actually kind of surprised that our male to female ratio is, like, as close as it is.
Yeah, because I would. Okay, so our initial thought was, okay, we want this to be for both men and women. So. And then we started doing the topics, and I felt like, I feel like we're going to gravitate more towards women. But then we look at our stats, and we're like, it's pretty
It's
even.
kind of even, yeah. It is a little more female heavy, so it's 57% female.
Yeah.
And a 41% male, and like 1% of non-specified. But that's a lot closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah. So it's cool to see that, okay, we're not just gravitating towards women.
And it's also, guys want to know what's up with girls.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool. I love that. And then our age gap, it's fairly where I thought it was going to be, which is our age range, which is between 28 to 34, which is roughly about right,
Yeah.
Like 60 and over, like we have 0 listeners. It makes sense.
Yeah, sorry. Maybe 2 girls on a mic goes to the nursing home. We like get all the grandmas to tell their like wild stories from when they were younger.
That would be hilarious.
So something else that Judy likes doing is like the international days or national
International.
whatever day.
Yeah.
And I think that really helped us out.
Yeah,
With
it did.
planning content and just, kind of getting stuff out there. So we did, for International Podcast Day, we did do the video where we interviewed ourselves and the girls from This Latina Needs Therapy too. And I really did like that one. It gives insight into like why you're doing this, where, because when I think of like podcasting, I'm like, why do people podcast? Like, why don't they just like do YouTube,
Right.
But I don't know, it's a very thin margin. There's more people coming now, obviously.
Right.
But it's very interesting to hear everyone's perspective as to why they get into it. So I
Right.
did really like that one. And again, from there, you could just tell everyone's responses are very genuine and,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. I think next season we definitely wanted to. I think we're gonna rebrand a little bit because, again, we thought we had a vision as far as like what we wanted our brand to be, but I think slowly we've tried to change it up a little bit. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it on our Instagram for the most part, but I think we want to be more cohesive to our brand and what we stand for. So I think that's another reason why we want to take a break to kind of really sit down and
figure out what it is that we want to do, like how we want it to look, because that's a big thing. We want it to look nice, I guess, like a nice to look at thing, because then we just look more well put together that way.
Right, yeah. And I think it's going to be helpful also to kind of just figure out where we want to go with this moving forward. And yeah, it's a lot of fun planning and just making sure that we have our content like in place, making sure that we luckily we haven't had an issue where we don't release an episode when we're scheduled.
Yeah,
Because at least for me that's a big pet peeve. Like if I'm setting a schedule, okay, every Wednesday we're gonna drop an episode and we don't drop, I think it would bug me because I'm like, okay, we're setting a standard. Okay, this is what it's gonna be like. For example, like on Mondays we release our teaser, Tuesday we do our Tuesday tunes, Wednesday we release our episode, Thursday we go back and forth with Throwback Thursdays because after a while we kind of like we don't know what to do Throwback Thursdays. You can only do so much.
That all being said, going into season 2, that's the stuff we want to keep, the social interaction and figuring out that Thursday.
That's the hard one to come up because, I mean, like I said, we could only do so much throwbacks.
yeah.
So we're like, okay, well, because after a while, I think maybe doing it like twice a month, it would be good. Because if you skip 1 week, then you have some time to kind of rethink about it.
Yeah, because people really enjoy those too. Like you guys will send stuff out, and it's nice for us to build off you guys as well.
Right. And I think a lot of guys respond to that one a lot. Yes.
Yeah. So we definitely want to do that. We want to keep doing these like video recordings for episodes, and we do want to get more like extra YouTube videos out as well, not like super long ones, but just something like in the middle of the week, or not in the middle of the week because that's when we release, but
Like probably on the weekend or something like that, or even like we're planning to, even though we're gonna get this break, so and so called break, I think we still want to like release small little things for you guys, whether it be behind the scene videos, like little like tags or stuff like that we can kind of still keep you guys engaged. Because again, if we're inconsistent, like even though we're letting you guys know that we're gonna take a break, we still want you guys to have some type of content
so that
to
way
keep
keep
you
seeing
guys
us.
to keep you guys drilled in. So we're definitely gonna plan to do those and release those so that way you guys don't like you won't be getting like 30-40 minute episodes, but you'll be getting at least some kind of content.
And we'll still be doing like the interactive stuff on Instagram too. So
Definitely.
and so we want you guys to reach out, let us know if you have any topics you want to hear on the podcast, or if you want to be on the podcast and you are local to the LA area, we can definitely make that work. And I feel like that's it.
I would want to know what your favorite episode is.
Oh, yeah,
that
your
would be fun
personal.
to see, like which one captivate you the most. You know, I think that would be cool to see. Okay, what was your favorite episode and why?
Yeah. And if you weren't here from the beginning, what was the first episode you listened to?
Yeah.
So that way we also know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that being said, we're taking this break from releasing episodes, but you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube at Two Girls on a Mic.
Yep.
And for our personal ones, mine is at Ceci.and
At Moody Judy.
And that being said, you guys will hear or
See us on the next one.
Yeah,
and
in
Happy New
20
Year, because
yeah.
we won't see you guys we won't have an episode for before New Year. So Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all of that. And you guys will see us in 2022.
Bye.